5-3.
Hey guys, hi, good morning. It's Brent Abel here, Web Tennis, and wow, so many comments on this video. This is just awesome, and I really want to spend some time evaluating this point for you. And the first thing I want to talk about is there were a number of comments that talked about, why didn't I come in behind a good return to serve? And ideally, yeah, you can do that, but sometimes, you sort of get some unintended results, which on this one was, I really hit a very solid forehand return to serve that was so big. I mean, it really got onto, it got onto Jim early. Jim was in sort of this kind of part of the court here, where my return was in here, and it just got on him early. And the reality is you just don't have enough time to be able to follow that in when you hit the return that well. That's not really a problem. And the other situation is there were a lot of comments about my partner Cliff. Why didn't Cliff kind of move over here and kind of pinch off that kind of pop up from Jim off of my return? Well, again, sometimes when you hit it that well, your partner gets frozen. There's just not enough time to be able to react, to be able to sort of get in the middle and pick that off. Now, sometimes if Cliff and I, Cliff is my partner here, if Cliff and I have a planned poach where he recognizes that I've hit a ball down low in the middle, certainly he can go ahead and cross. But this was not that kind of a situation. Jim served me a good first serve right into my forehand wheelhouse, and I just got every bit of it. And so that's really why this wasn't an opportunity for me to move in behind this return. If I've hit a medium-paced return to serve, maybe even something slower that I see is getting down, absolutely, I'm moving in behind it. So, let's now go ahead and we're going to talk about the possible shot choices I had off of this backhand, which you guys had so many great suggestions on. So, a really, common suggestion that I got from you guys was to lob. And we definitely need to work some more in the lob. I mean, one of them was to simply, lob over Guy here, Guy Needham here into this corner. Another one was to lob deep cross court over Jim. And, both of these are great shot choices. The one comment that I got frequently was, kind of play a topspin lob. And, I got to tell you, for the guys in the tour, the guys and the gals in the tour, a backhand one-handed topspin lob is a possibility. But for the rest of us, no question. From time to time, we can pull this shot off. But I just don't think we're nearly consistent enough, especially at this point of this game. If you heard Jim when he announced the score, it's 15-30. And to me, a topspin lob is more about an all-out winner as opposed to a shot that's going to keep us in the point safely, but also force them to play. One of the things you guys want to be thinking about is when it's 15-30, when it's 15-40, you really don't want to go ESPN highlight film and hit the big banger. You really want to force your opponents to play. The pressure's on them to not make a mistake. So let me kind of clean this up here. Again, if you want to play a slice lob over Guy, if you want to play a slice lob backhand deep here over Jim, absolutely, I completely love that shot. So let me clean this up, and we'll go on to the next shot selection from you guys. Okay, the next shot selection that was pretty common was for me to take this backhand and absolutely, and the term used was rip it down the line. And again, when I go back to what my last tip was, is that when it's 15-30 or 15-40, you want to force these guys to play. And I'm not saying that you want to push, but you want to play high percentage shots that enable both you and your partner to get involved. And number one, if I, quote unquote, rip down the line, it's kind of an all or nothing shot. And, you know, I mean, I can rip down the line, but the chances of me making this shot as a winner are not great. Obviously it's over the highest part of the net here, as opposed to the lowest part of the net, which is in the middle. And again, this looks like to me where guy's position here as I'm about to load up in this shot. He's got this pretty well covered. And if you look at my position in the court, if I don't rip this past him for a winner, he's got a forehand volley from here all day long, right into the open part of the court. So, I'm not really looking at that as a strong possibility. So, again, if you're looking at coming up the line here with a shot, I don't mind it so much if your attitude is, I've got a target, and my target here is somewhere in the alley, but you're really getting ready for a second shot by kind of positioning yourself for worst case, which is guy picks off this forehand volley and kind of knifes it in the middle. If you're ready for that situation, then think of this as a two-shot play. You're going to target practice this up the line. It's not going to be an all-out rip, but it's going to have a little bit of dip to it with some good medium top that's definitely going to get down. But I don't want you thinking that you need to grip and rip and go ESPN highlight film up the line here with this possible shot. Okay, the next shot selection, which is definitely a possibility, is to play a cross-court kind of a dipper, a cross-court topspin roll into the alley in front of Jim. And there's no question that if you've got the technique on this, you can make it happen. The only problem here is that if this ball ends up kind of hanging, meaning that it sits up a little bit too high, Jim's got a real shot now at coming in and being able to close on this before the ball gets down, and is really got himself an easy shot here in the middle. The other possibility here is that if you don't hit a winner, if you don't get this past Jim, and Jim has seen this from you before, is ready for it, and if this ball sort of comes out here and kind of sits up a little bit, he can come over and do a lot of damage with this, because my partner Cliff, has really got to sort of now cover the alley, show him the alley's is not open. And from this position over here, Jim's got, obviously he's not going to go up the line on it, but he could drive this into Cliff, maybe get a pop-up. But really, now that Cliff's over here, I've also got to look for Jim doing the same thing to me, as going cross-court on it, which really opens up the middle of the court. So, this is not a bad choice, but you got to have good technique on this to make sure that you get it up and down, and that it doesn't have sort of artificial topspin where it kind of sits up out here, if it's not a winner. The other thing too is that if you hit this, you got to have good footwork to be able to follow this in and start to kind of close off the angles a little bit, if it's not a winner, and Jim gets an opportunity to go ahead and do something with it. Another shot choice that was mentioned frequently is kind of a low and slow slice, kind of a chip, down here to Jim's feet, and maybe even taking a little bit sort of wide in here. I really prefer to kind of get it down to Jim's feet, because every time here I want to think of what shot can I hit that's going to involve my partner Cliff. And some of these shots that have been suggested don't really involve him, such as, you know, this topspin ripper up the line here, and kind of the topspin lob. You know, none of these shots really, excuse me, involve Cliff. And I really want to be thinking here about what shots I can play. So, you know, these shots don't really do it. And yet this one does here. This nice kind of low little kind of, let me see if I can get on this thing here. This kind of low slice in here really gets, you know, gets Cliff involved. And so absolutely a great choice. Not only does it give him a chance to, you know, poach in the middle, but, you know, it also gives him a chance to kind of fake poach, to kind of come out and then kind of come back here. So absolutely, you know, I love that shot selection right there. Now the other common shot selection that you guys suggested was simply for me to take this and, you know, drive it between the two players. And, you know, that's always a great choice, because when you drive it, meaning that, you know, you're not going to slice it, you're going to go ahead and drive it. And I don't want you to think rip. What I want you to think is driving it with some medium top that has got enough shape so that it is kind of diving over the top of the net. That if guy does decide to poach, you know, he doesn't have an easy ball to handle here, you know, and lots of times, you know, if he poaches on this, you know, that thing gets popped up. But, you know, really what I like about this potential drive here in the middle is that if it doesn't get between these two guys, between Jim and Guy, is that if Guy doesn't get to it and, you know, Jim's got to come over here and cover, it really gives Cliff an opportunity to kind of move here in the middle and have an opportunity to work with. Again, this shot takes technique. You just can't go and think that you know, you're going to go ahead and grip and rip in the middle here. You know, a lot of things have got to be good. You've got to have good footwork in terms of spacing away from the ball. You got to have the right grip. And I want you to be thinking that the right grip on this, you know, an Eastern backhand grip for a one-handed backhand topspin drive is what easily imparts topspin. You don't have to do anything artificial. So this next video coming up is I want to show you the exact shot that you suggested that I ended up playing.
5-3.
Okay, so there you have it. For those of you who said, yep, go ahead and just drive it down the middle, you know, absolutely correct. And let me kind of take you through the whole sequence here of what I'm thinking about. And, you know, first of all, as we talked about before, you know, I really got all of this return, hit it well, didn't give myself enough time to be able to move in on it. And right now, when I see it's getting popped up, I'm kind of measuring, well, what's the depth of Jim's shot going to be? You know, can I move forward and kind of volley this pop up? And I realize, you know what, I just can't. And so right now, I've decided exactly what my strategy is going to be. And my strategy is, you know, my tactic is, you know, what shot am I going to play? And we've already gone through, you know, I don't know what, 5 or 6 different possible shots that I could play. And, you know, what I've had to train myself to do is whatever shot choice I make, whether it's a lob here, whether it's this kind of cross-court roller over here, whether it's a slice down here to Jim's feet, or, you know, whether it's this shot that I'm about to hit right here in the middle. I mean, I've right now committed to it, because that's been my first instinct. And I can't tell you why our first instincts are what they are, but whatever yours is in this situation, I want you to trust it and not doubt that if you think right here, all right, we're driving in the middle, that right about here you go, no, let's go somewhere else. You really want to stay committed to that first instinct in terms of shot selection. And then what I do is I go into a stroke technique cue. And a cue is, well, what's one of sort of the 5 or 6 fundamentals of the shot that I've committed to, which in this case is going to be a one-handed, medium topspin drive, and my cue is simply going to be a swing path. And for me, what I've had to work on is to make sure that I swing, that I've got a swing path that starts above the ball and the swing drops down, and then when I swing up to get the top, is that I don't really swing from this direction over here to this direction. The way we're looking at it would be from right to left, but where I'm looking at it, it's from left to right. I want to make sure that my swing path comes up and directly up and over the top of this ball towards this target. And if I come off of this ball in terms of swinging, across it this way, it just doesn't work. So that's my strategy. That's my stroke cue. And then, my mindset here is just to take my time. Don't rush this shot, because then I know that if I really do hit it cleanly in here, that if it's not a winner, I've really helped set up my partner Cliff with the possibility of a pop-up that he can go ahead and then clean up on. So there you have it, guys. First of all, thank you so much for all the great comments you left in the last couple days on the question portion of this video. Again, I'm really looking forward to your comments, questions, feedback on this answer part of the video. So right below this video, let me know. Have a great day out there.